Have you ever taken a shower, gone for a walk, or tried to sleep, and suddenly you're arguing with someone in your head? You're explaining yourself perfectly, finally saying what you wish you said in real life, or imagining a future moment where everyone finally understands you. None of it is actually happening, but your heart is racing like it's real. If that sounds like you, stay with me, because today we're going to talk about why your brain does this, when it's actually useful, and when it quietly starts holding you back. First, understand this. You are not crazy, broken, or weird for imagining fake conversations and scenarios. A lot of people do this. High school and college students replaying what they should have said. Young adults imagining job interviews, text conversations, or what if I finally succeed? Parents replaying arguments, planning talks with their kids, or worrying about the future. Busy people stuck in traffic or on the subway, living whole stories inside their head. Your mind builds a full movie. You argue, you win, you impress, you fail, you get misunderstood. And even though it's not real, the emotions feel real. You feel anger, anxiety, relief, excitement, all from something that never actually happened. So the obvious question is, why does the brain do this? Psychologists have a name for this: mental simulation. Your brain is constantly running what-if simulations. What if I say this? What if they react like that? What if this goes wrong? What if it finally goes right? It's like your mind has a built-in rehearsal room. Athletes use this on purpose. They visualize the perfect game before they play. Public speakers imagine their speech before they walk on stage. Your brain is doing something similar, but automatically. You're walking down the street, and suddenly you're imagining explaining something to someone. You're at work or in class, zoning out, replaying an argument from earlier, but this time you win. You're lying in bed, imagining how your life will look once you finally make it. Sometimes you imagine success. You win, you get recognized, you prove people wrong. Sometimes you imagine the worst. You fail, people misunderstand you, everything falls apart. Here's the wild part. Your body often reacts as if it's happening right now. Your heart rate changes, your chest feels tight, your mood shifts. So no, it's not just in your head. Your nervous system is getting involved too. Let's break down a few common patterns. See which one sounds like you. You're replaying a fight, a disagreement, or a moment where you felt misunderstood. But in your head, you explain yourself perfectly. You destroy their argument. You finally say the thing you froze on in real life. This usually comes from feeling unheard, feeling disrespected, wishing you had more control over the situation. You imagine getting that job offer, walking on stage, posting something that goes viral, meeting your future self who has it all together. These can be very motivating. They give hope. They create a vision. But they can also turn into mental escape, where your fantasy life feels better than your actual life. This is where your brain becomes a professional overthinker. What if they hate my idea? What if I fail the exam? What if I embarrass myself in front of everyone? What if everything goes wrong? Your brain thinks it's keeping you safe by preparing you for danger. But too many worst-case simulations can keep you stuck in fear, even when nothing bad is happening right now. Here's something most people never notice. People who imagine fake scenarios a lot usually have one thing in common. They spend a lot of time thinking about how other people see them. Not always because they want attention, but because their brain is constantly analyzing. Did I sound stupid? Do they think I'm boring? Did I offend them? Do they respect me? So the mind starts creating imaginary conversations as a way to process social situations, rehearse future interactions, fix what went wrong in the past. It's like your brain is always practicing, next time I'll say this. If they say that, I'll reply like this. When this happens, I'll be ready. This can be helpful until it turns into a loop. At some point, something subtle happens. Imagination stops being a tool and starts becoming a place to hide. Because in your imagination, you never freeze. You always have the perfect response. People react exactly how you want. Life finally feels clear and predictable. Real life? Messy, awkward, uncomfortable, unpredictable. So your brain starts preferring the imaginary version. Instead of having a hard talk, you just rehearse it 50 times in your head. Instead of trying something new, you imagine failing over and over. Instead of building the life you want, you only daydream about it. Imagination becomes safer than action. You feel like you're doing something, but in reality, nothing is changing. That's where this habit quietly starts to hurt you. Now, I want you to hear this clearly. Imagination is not the problem. In fact, it's one of your superpowers. Because of imagination, humans can plan ahead, create art, music, and stories, solve complex problems, prepare for challenges before they happen. Your brain simulating different paths is the reason you can make decisions instead of just reacting. The real issue is this. Imagination becomes a problem when it replaces action. You can't argue your way to healing just in your head. You can't imagine your way into confidence without ever practicing in real situations. You can't daydream your way into a better life if your feet never move. Real growth doesn't happen in mental simulations. It happens in the uncomfortable, imperfect, unpredictable moments of real life. So what can you do if you're constantly living in imagined scenarios? Here are a few mind shifts you can start using today. Next time you catch yourself in a fake scenario, don't panic. Just notice, is this about the past, the future, or fear? Am I practicing or am I hiding? Awareness alone changes a lot. If your brain is rehearsing a conversation over and over, ask, what is one tiny thing I can do in the real world? It might be sending one message, having a short, honest conversation, taking one small step toward that goal you keep imagining. Use the scenario as a draft, not the final destination. When your brain starts running the worst case every night, try this. Ask yourself, what is the most likely thing that will happen? Then, if the worst happens, what is one way I could handle it? You're not pretending nothing bad can happen. You're reminding your brain that you can survive it. If you love imagining your future success, that's great, but connect it to action. If that's the life I want, what is one thing I can do today that my future self would thank me for? Vision plus action beats vision alone. Your mind is an incredible storyteller. It can create entire worlds, arguments, relationships, victories, and tragedies, all without you leaving your room. But your most important memories will not be the fake argument you won in the shower, the fantasy speech you gave in your head, the imaginary life where everything finally worked out. Your real life is built in, the uncomfortable, real conversations, the moments where your voice shakes, but you speak anyway, the days you're scared, but you still try. So next time your brain pulls you into another long scenario, remember this. Use your imagination as a rehearsal room, but don't forget to walk out on stage. Because the story that really matters is not the one in your head. It's the one you're brave enough to live. If this video made you feel a little called out, but also a little understood, you're not alone. Tell me in the comments, what kind of scenarios does your brain love to create? Arguments, future success, worst case, a mix of everything? If you want more videos that break down the psychology of everyday life in a simple, real, US-style, no-fluff way, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this with that one friend who lives in their head. Your brain will always tell stories. Let's just make sure your real life becomes the best one.